three. Okay, so this right here is a monthly chart, right? So when people be like, "Oh, it's not going to go too much farther," we're already up, we way up here. Look how much further down it can go. The market has plenty room to go down if it wants to. You know what I'm saying? When the market drops crazy, they're like, "Oh, the market's going to crash." No, that is not considered a crash. The market's still way up here. A crash is over 20%, 20, 30% drop. Look how much further the market can go. When was this? This was 2023. The market could drop all the way down to any one of these levels. So we still got plenty of room to go. We have way more down room than we have up because this is the highest the market has ever been up here.
Hmm.
So look what has more room going up or down. Is way more room down here. So that's what you got to look at when people are like, oh, the market is very high. It's got to go down. It don't have to do anything. Or they're like, oh, it went down far enough. It's going to turn back around. That's emotions. That's what people feel. They feel it's going to do this. I don't care about what you feel. Look at what the candlesticks tell you. They tell you what's going to go down, what's going to go up. Is a case by case basis. You can't just look at the market like, oh, I know for a fact it's going to keep going down. You don't know that, But that's why I show you guys levels and how the market reacts at those different levels. We're not the only people waiting at that level. That's what makes it so strong. That's why when they be like, oh, everybody knows that level, that's a good thing that everybody knows that level. Because that means there's more people waiting there to stop the market from going down and go up at least something. Get a little bit of money on the way up, and
You
then it
talking about
continues
people
down.
trading? I didn't catch it. You can ask him what he said.
Oh, go ahead.
Click on the mic.
Go ahead, Larry.
You said when you said that was people trading, you saying when the people waiting?
Yeah, the levels that I teach,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not the only people that know those levels. There's other traders sitting at that level just like you are,
Oh, okay,
waiting to
okay.
see what happens.
All right.
So that's what gives the market strength to go up and down because there's other people waiting at that level as well. And that's why last week I showed y'all that time and sales chart because that shows you how many people are trading, how many contracts. It's not just us. All right. So right now I have the time at 9:18. Anytime you're practicing, it's always good to open up the news and look at what news happened that day. So if you're practicing from last Wednesday, look at Wednesday and see the news. That way you can practice accurately. I don't know what my dog barking at. So Friday we had news at 8:30 and we had news at 10. And then Forex
So we don't
Factory.
necessarily have to look at the news. We just have to know that the news, when we bring up it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't
you
have
just
to
know
actually
that the
watch the
news
news
is
itself.
happening.
Just know what time it happens
Oh, okay.
because you'll see the market. If it says a red folder at 8:30, at 8:30 you'll see the market start going like this. So you just don't want to be in the market a minute before and up to a minute after the news. So Friday we only had news at 10 o'clock and 8:30. And let me clear some of these levels. So we can start with a fresh screen.
Hey, Will,
Yep.
quick question. When there's a red folder and you're using a bot, would you don't enable the bot when there's a red folder, right?
Oh, I don't do nothing with a red folder.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Got you. I ain't trying to either. All
I
right.
don't do nothing with a red folder. Now, if you want to, you could trade an eval, try to get an eval passed. I've done that before.
Okay. Okay.
like especially when it's like 90% off. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna try one, try to get that one knocked out real quick.
I mean, it can go south too, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at 90% off, it's like, all right, I got an extra $12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm not you can't be scared to trade though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just part of the game,
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
you know. But don't do that with your PA,
Nah,
okay?
nah.
Because the thing about a PA, once you get a PA approved, once you pay the 85 to 110, whatever it costs to activate it, there's no more charge. My course is a one-time fee. You pay one time to activate it. That account is not costing you money every month. So take your time once you pass. But those evals, look, I've been trying to get them things knocked out because those evals are costing you every month. But one eval, not too much worried about that. But I'll have 6, 7 evals that I'm running. You know what I'm saying? When they reset, that's 6 times 30. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets expensive when you got a bunch of them.
I have a question.
Mhm.
About the daily. I know like when you open your chart, you go to the daily and you mark the high and the low. So
Yep.
throughout the day, that if one of those levels is broken, are you moving the line, right?
No, nope, don't
No,
move the
you're
line.
keeping it. Oh, okay. So
That
yesterday,
the high and low is locked in soon as 9:30 starts.
oh, even
So
if it
wherever it
goes,
was at 9:29, that's the
mhm,
high and the low.
even if it goes below it.
Yep, even if it goes below it. Because
Oh,
is the overnight high and low. Overnight, the market opens up at 6 p.m. at night or 1800, and then our New York market opens up at 9:30. So you want to mark the high and the low between 6 o'clock at night and 9:29 in the morning. Is
so I
locked
think
in as soon as 9:30 starts.
okay. So I think I did that, and then on Friday, as the market kept going lower and lower from
Moved
like,
it.
yeah, I moved
Yeah,
it. So
yeah.
you're not supposed to do that. Okay.
Yeah, don't move it.
Okay.
So like this right here is a blank page, right? All we have on this is the indicators that I give you, and it's a daily. So the very first candle, just before 9:30, you mark the high and low. Now, if that high and low changes before 9:30, you do a move it. You go ahead and move it. But once 9:30 hit, you no longer change it.
Okay, got you.
1175. And I'll always keep mine color coded because it just helps me remember what is what. Was it 45.25? And the way I pull up that little data box, if you have a mouse, that little button in between the left and the right will pull up this little chart that'll give you the date, the time, the high and the low, all the information for that candle. If you don't have a mouse, at the very top, you'll see where it says show data box up here. You can click that data box and it gives you the same information. Just hover over the candle and it will show you the time, the price, the open, the high, the low, and the close of that one candle. There's a lot of information per candle. So I just marked the high and the low for the daily high and low.
I have another question. Would you say it's okay if you purchase um multiple accounts, like from
Mhm.
Apex or whatever? Like, let's say you outright just buy two or three accounts to pass the eval. and you have the copy trader. So while you're doing one trade on your eval, it's going on all of them.
Yeah, but yes, with the if you buy the copier, you could choose how many accounts you want to copy. So you can have account number one be your main account, and you can have account number two and three copy whatever account number one does.
Okay.
So you just, but like with mine, since I have more than five accounts,
Mm.
I'll have like account number one, and I'll have 2 through 4 copy account number one, and then I have account number five, and I'll have 6 through 8 copy whatever trade I do on account number five. So I separate them that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't have all of my accounts copy one, because if I take one bad trade, I don't want to lose $200 times 16.
On all of them. Okay. Because I feel like I did good Friday on my eval, and I was like, dang, I wish I could have just did that across like 3 accounts.
Yeah,
But
you'll get to that point where you can, once you get more confident and comfortable, because once you start getting 5 or 6 PAs, and like that's what Ferg does. He'll copy one, click one button, make $100, and it'll be times however many accounts he has.
mhm.
So you minimize how long you have to sit here and play in the market.
Yeah,
Right.
Thursday I made $1,000 on that falling knife.
Times all your accounts.
Yeah.
God,
That's insane.
hey, that's the joy of trading. That market was going down. It's like, you know what? We're just gonna ride the wave to the bottom.
Berg, how many contracts
Mhm.
did you do on that then?
So I've been doing wheel. I did wheel 300 slash zero profit, and I just let it ride. And that was just one contract.
Mm.
Just let it go.
This was stop loss.
And
Wait,
what
what?
he means by the zero, he means this right here. My ATM strategy, I don't put a profit target. So when I take a trade, there's nothing that stops it. I have a stop loss just in case it goes against me so that I don't lose too much money, but I don't have a profit. So if I take a trade and like when it was dropping, as long as it's dropping, I'll get every penny that drops.
You have a trailing stop loss?
Yeah, yeah, this is trailing right here. So my trail, as soon as it goes in 30 ticks in profit, my stop loss moves to plus 10. So I lock in $50. And as it goes down, it just follows it as it moves. A little more advanced strategy, but I have those. I have my 8 tick strategy in the room in the Discord. But that 8 tick strategy should be used on micros. I don't recommend using it on minis, but if you want, you can. But that was for micros because it's 8 contracts.
That's
So, but yeah,
also better used on like an 150,000 account too, right?
yeah,
Like a
yeah. Now
hundred.
you can use them on bigger accounts. Yeah, my 250, I don't do no less than 5 contracts. But 8 micros is only $4. You know what I'm saying? So 8 micros is still less than one mini.
How much is a micro?
50 cents
Okay.
per contract. That's why once you pass your evaluation, trade micros with when you get a brand new PA. I still do the same thing. When I get a new PA, I don't tell y'all to do something that I'm not doing myself. So when I get a brand new PA, I start off with micros because I'll do micros until I get a payout. Then I'll go to minis. You know what I'm saying? I stick with what works.
Are you doing 8 micros on your
Yeah,
PA?
I do 8 micros. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
Okay.
ain't about to do one micro.
I know that's right.
That 50 cent take a long time to get to $100.
You'd be like $20.
But but the cool thing about that though, if you can make $20 in micros, that's literally 200 in minis. So if you can make $20 with one micro and you just do that if you do that consistently, when you finally do switch over to minis, it'd be like a breeze in the park to make $200. Because you're looking at the tick amount. Okay, if you could do $20, which is 20 ticks, which is 40 ticks, in with one micro. When you switch over to minis and you do 40 ticks, that's $200. So you're used to getting $20 per trade in micros. As soon as you switch over to minis, you're gonna be hitting for $200 a trade. You're gonna see a crazy increase. So that's why I always tell people about micros, because my first two instructors, they barely mention micros. And that's the value, that's the plus that you get from trading micros. Don't focus so much on the dollar amount, but how many ticks you get. If you can consistently get 40 ticks in micros, that's $20. In minis, that's $200. So 200 a day, and that'll keep the job away. Especially once you start getting 5, 6, 7 accounts approved, that's 200 times 5 every day. Now we're talking real money. Now, when you're marking up your daily chart, also, don't be afraid to look to the past, because there might be some more levels back there. This one stops a little prematurely because I only loaded so many days.
This do you use for a cup?
Yeah, but don't be afraid to look to the past if you need more levels below.
I use two.
All right, right here also, you see how I marked up this triple threat, 3 or more in the same direction, right? I marked up this triple threat. Even though this one went above it and came back down, that triple threat is still valid, because at the end of the day, it's still closed red. So it doesn't matter that this wick went above the brown line, because it still ended up a red candle. Same thing with this one. This one went above the green line. I mean, the brown line is still a triple threat because it still closed red. A triple threat is not locked in until right here is green. Now you can mark this triple threat, because I don't think this one is going to go all the way back up and then come back down. So you can still mark this one as a triple threat, even though these two went above the brown line, because they still ended up closing as a red candle.
So you don't mark it to that green candle come up. That
Yeah,
green.
yeah. Well, I wait for a closure of a different color. So like
Okay.
this right here, you see 1, 2. Well, that's this little one is actually red. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles red going down. Then you see this green one close green. Now it's a triple threat because this one closed green. So it's not locked in until it closes green or an opposite color. There's like these right here. I would count this one as a triple threat down here too. All the way down here.
Mr. A.
Yep.
Okay, those 3 green candles, or it look like maybe 4. Look back to the right. Yeah. Okay, so you don't mark triple threat until you see the change of colors, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so where would you add to mark that triple threat at on the green?
The reason why I didn't mark this one,
Yeah,
because the top starts right here.
right.
This one was green, but it was no real it's no real I guess a cascade or a climb up.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Because this one dropped. I don't know how this happened, but when this one is opened at the bottom, it closed up top, and then this one popped up and went down, which I don't know. I don't even know how that happened. So I just left that one alone
Okay.
because it was no clear uptrend. This is more like a consolidation. Yeah, when you see little weird triple threats like that, I don't even mark them. I leave them alone.
Okay.
It got to be like a clear way down or a clear going up. And just like this one right here, even though this one started it, y'all see that little gap right here? That's because the market closed Friday, and when it opened Sunday night, it was at a different level. That's the only reason why this gap happened. But it's still a continuation of the green to the upside. And this is another one. I didn't mark this one right here. I didn't mark this one because it's two green and then there's a doji and then another green one. So it wasn't three greens in a row. This doji has no color at all. Even when you zoom into it, it's just a flat white line. So sometimes you got to zoom in to actually see what that color is.
So you saying you wouldn't mark that one?
Nope, because that doji has no color. It's just a cross. And when you hover over it, if you hover over it, you'll see the open and the close is 414.25. The open and the close are the same number. That means it's just a doji. Now this other one up here, the open is 511, the close is 510. It's very small, but it's still red because it was only by 1 point. And if you zoom in, you'll see that it's red. See that? This one is red. Because even though it looked like a doji, if you zoom out, it's not. This one is a true doji because the open and the close are at the same point, 14.25. So sometimes you got to zoom in to see exactly where it's at. But these levels work. That's why you want to zoom in and see exactly where that number is. Because if you 1 point off, you're gonna lose money on the trade. It's 1925. So even though that brown line right here looked like it was on point, it was still at 19 instead of, I mean, it was at 18 instead of 19. So always pull up that data box to make sure you got the open and that line that you marked is right there at the open. Because you want to be as precise as you can.
That's some.
Yeah.
There's a nice little gap up here. And remember, gap is the high and the low. So I'm looking at the high of this candlestick, which is 56.25, because I want my gap to be right at 56.25. It is a 4-hour
So the
gap.
size of the middle candle doesn't matter?
No, nope. Nope, because the gap is A, B, and C. You want to make sure A and C don't intersect. They're little wicks. You want to make sure their wicks aren't touching.
You said make sure the wicks aren't
Yeah,
touching.
yeah, the wick isn't touching. So you see A don't have a wick all the way down here touching the wick of B, a C. And B is in the middle of them.
So, Mr. H, on fair value gap, let's say I drew one on an hour chart, but I'm trading, on the 5 minute chart. Can I use that gap as support and resistance as well?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's still support and resistance on the 5 minute. It's still a gap. Yep, it's still a gap. And anytime you see a gap is A, B, and C, then you count 1, 2, 3. As long as the 3 candles after the gap don't dip into the gap, it's still a gap. Right? But this one right here, this is a perfect example of what to look for in a gap. You think this is a gap, right?
Right?
That looks like a gap too, but look, A, B, and C. So it's A, B, and C. Then you got to count 3 after that. 1, 2, 3. This third one right here, well, this is actually the second one, is actually higher. So this one, the high of this one is 46.50. The high of this one is 47.75.
Oh, yeah.
So it actually dipped into the gap already. See that? It already poked in the gap. So that's why the next time the market came to it, it shot straight up in there and then came down. If you would have took a sell right here, you would have got toe up.
Right.
You would have got toe up because it jumped all the way up here, then went
Okay.
down.
Say that
Because after
again.
the gap happened, you got to count 1, 2. It dipped into it already. It's
That
not a
third
gap.
candle,
Huh?
that third candle
Yep.
dipped
Well,
into it.
it was a second. 1, 2. It already dipped into it. So it's no longer a gap. So you got A, B, and then C is down here. The green one is C. After the gap is created, you got to count 1, 2, already touched into it. So it's no longer a gap.
Oh,
So
okay.
A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. As long as none of those get into it, it's good. But because that second candle after the gap was created already tapped inside there, I deleted it. No longer a gap.
No.
But this one is still a gap because after it was created, 1, 2, and 3 way down here. None of them touched back up in here. So it's still good.
That's good information.
Yeah, you got to be precise. Because if you just be like, oh, it looks like a gap and you mark it off, all right, look like a gap. If you don't verify as a gap, you're gonna get your head knocked off. Like the market really does follow rules. That's why I go over these rules every weekend so it can be ingrained in your head. Especially when I'm like, hey, look, do 50 to 100, get out. Until you prove to yourself that you can do more than 50 to 100 per trade, stick to 50 to 100 per trade until you prove that, hey, I can do more than $50. Okay, cool. Do more than 50. But as a beginner, just focus on 50 to 100 until you prove yourself otherwise. Because you're not gonna make 50 to 100 per trade the rest of your life trading. You're gonna make more money. But the reason why a lot of traders fail is because they try to make more money before they are ready. They don't know what their average is. They just in here clicking buttons, right? Once you understand what your average is, get that amount and get out the market until you get a payout. Simple as that. If all you can do is $100 per trade, well, just get 100 per trade until you get a payout. You know,
Coach, I'm confused. Why did you make this one a gap
the
where you
one up
have,
top.
yes,
Oh, I pull it up. I'll mark it. Oh, let me see if I can mark it. Oh, let me annotate.
like where you have it now? Like, why is this marked as a gap?
I was trying to annotate the chart. It's marked
I'm
as a
sorry.
gap because the first red one is A, this one is B, this one is C.
Right.
A and C don't intersect, meaning that wick doesn't touch. Like all the other ones, see how the wicks touch? This one, A, B, and C, A and C don't touch. So that causes a gap in the market.
Yeah, okay, but it doesn't touch on the greens either.
Which
Like
ones? These?
over, yeah,
Yeah, but
like
that already happened. This one already went through it. So like I can show you right here.
oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I know what you're talking.
Yeah, this right here is a gap. That's a
Yeah,
gap.
and
And
it
when the
came
market
down.
came down, it probably did bounce off that gap and then went through it.
Yeah, I'm not thinking clearly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
But since it already went through it, I
yeah,
didn't
it's
mark it.
filled.
Yep.
So, okay, so when you're saying, okay, so I think my confusion is when you're saying, like when you drew the second one,
Yeah,
even
that was
though
right
it's,
here.
yeah, even though it touched, that one, yeah, the second one, you want it to be, even though it touched, you want it to be filled, right?
Yeah, so you're asking why this one wasn't a gap?
The one, yeah, the second one you drew. Mm-hmm. You said
Okay,
it
the reason why
touched it,
this wasn't a gap was because after you have A, B, and then this green one is C,
right?
right? That's the gap.
Mm-hmm.
But after you have A, B, and C, you have to count one, two, three.
Right.
Two already tapped inside.
But it didn't feel it.
It didn't feel it, but it's not a gap because it has to go 3 bars after the gap that didn't go into it yet. Then is a gap. But because bar number 2 tapped into it, I don't mark it as a gap anymore.
Oh, I never heard of that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me
Yeah, ABC, like Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
ABC, he is 1, 2, 3. If you could count 1, 2, 3 and they don't tap back inside that gap, then it's a gap.
Okay. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never heard of that. I was always
Yeah,
under the
because if you would
impression,
have marked that gap, this one
right.
right here would have went straight through there.
But again, it didn't feel it all the way. It just
Yeah,
went
it didn't
through.
fill it all the way. But if you were trying to take a sell at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't a real gap, it would have put you in a trade, jumped up, took all your lunch money, then went down.
Okay.
Yeah. I just noticed when there's a gap that was created and 3 candles after don't go into it, don't even tap inside there, is much stronger.
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, it creates a stronger level of resistance. Oh yeah. But you're in the trade room now, right?
No, I'm not in there yet.
You're not in there? Okay.
Yeah, but
I was like, because
I'm
you'll
hoping.
learn
Yeah.
zones too.
Okay. No.
And
Yeah.
you'll notice like a lot of times the zones match up with a lot of the levels that I'm teaching you now. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the zones and the anchored VWAP will match up with what I'm teaching you now. And it will just strengthen what you're already doing.
I've just never heard of that concept. It's the first time I've ever heard someone say if it's tapped through, then just, I've always heard it has to be filled. It's going to go back up eventually, but okay.
Oh yeah, now gaps will be filled. Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
gaps. Yeah, this gap will eventually be filled, and they will. This is still a gap. It's
Mm-hmm.
just not a gap that I would take a trade on because
Yeah.
it
Like
already
as
tapped
far as
into
this,
it.
right. I never, okay.
But it's
Just
still a gap.
understanding.
Yes,
Yeah. I
I'm just
just,
not trading that thing.
no, you wouldn't trade it as far as a buy. You would do it as
Yeah,
a sale.
yep, I do
Okay.
it. Yeah,
New
now
strategy.
you see at the top where this gap happened. Look
Mm-hmm.
at what's right next to it R2.
Mm-hmm.
So when it actually goes to fill this, I will take a short at this R2 because that
Right.
R2 is right at the top of that gap. Two confirmations. I have two reasons. The top of the gap and that R2. That's two reasons why I would sell from there though. But I just wouldn't have took that bounce from here. Because I like to take higher probability trades. I'm not saying you
Okay.
couldn't have made money from that bounce, but I like to take high probability trades.
Because I noticed you said, I think when you were in the live, you don't scout. You wait. You don't
Yeah.
ever just take a like down. You want to stay in for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. People that say they scalp, a lot, not saying that scalping is not a good strategy, but when I ask them, why did you take that short? Oh, because
Mm-hmm.
the market was moving down. Like,
Right.
that's not a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. No, you have to do levels, but right. Okay.
Yeah, I need a reason.
All right. All right. I
Like
just need
this R2, even though I didn't mark this gap because it kind of tapped into it already, if it got all the way up here, I'm taking it because that R2 and it's kind of the top of a gap.
but a scout would have been, I would have thought, since it was the gap and it hit it, I would have taken it to the PP level as far as the scout.
You would have took it to the PP.
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, yeah, you
That would
could,
have been my technically scout because
yeah,
I would think it would just stop there because it hadn't filled the gap. So I'm thinking, my thinking is it's going to come back up because it wants to fill it, not necessarily right now, but it just hasn't, it didn't go in enough to do anything.
yeah.
Um,
See, now this
okay.
trade, I would have took the sell because of the R1, not because of the gap.
Okay.
I would have took it because of that R1 because I noticed it's more advanced, but because I noticed it's still a gap, it's just
Mm-hmm.
not. I wouldn't have took a short off that gap only because that this candle tapped into it already. That's the only
Okay.
reason why I wouldn't have took a short at this level. I would have took the short a little higher up at the R1,
Okay.
or I would have took a short at the R2 if it would have got up that high. Because this right here is what you call a bear trap sweep. It swept up, took everybody lunch money that
Mm-hmm.
thought it was a gap. Everybody probably would have took a trade right here. They would have took a
Yeah.
trade for a short right there, and
Yep.
it jumped up, snatched all their money, then went down.
Yep. Which is one of the, yeah. So that's what I'm working. Okay. For my entries. Okay. This is great.
Yeah, entry is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, what I would
Hmm.
have did, I would have waited for it to snatch everybody lunch money, and I would have took a short on the way down.
Mm.
I would have waited for it to come back down to the R1, then I would have took a short and rode it all the way down.
Okay.
Well, I probably would have got out. I would have got out at the central pivot. I would have took
Mm-hmm.
the R1 and I would have got out at the central pivot.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see right here, it jumped back up again. I would have took a short down because
And
when the market is dropping like crazy, I look for a retracement to take another trade.
okay. Okay.
But as I said, that's a little more advanced. I would have just took the R1, got me a little 50 to 100 as a beginner. I would have just got 50 to 100 and been done.
A retracement meaning what, Mr. A?
Meaning it went below a level that you have marked and it closed below the level, like it would have closed below a certain level and it came back to that level to retrace. Like for instance, this orange line, which is the 405 closure, or the LIS. It closed below the LIS right here. This is where it closed at. When it came back up to the when it came back up to the LIS, I would have took a sell right here because it was a retracement of the LIS. I would have took a sell right here and look how far down it went. I would have got out at the S1. I would have took my money at the S1. Mind you, this is a 4-hour chart. That's a lot of money from the S1, the LIS, all the way down to the S1. That's thousands. So if you look at the 5-minute chart, that's here. That's way back here. That's way back here. right here. It closed below the LIS back here. When it came back to the LIS, I would have took a sell because right here is where it closed. Y'all see that? Where it closed below it? It closed below. You could have took a short right here, down. You could have took a short right here, rolled it on down again. Fast forward it all the way to here. You could have took another short right here at the LIS and rolled it all the way down because it didn't close above the LIS yet. So as long as it doesn't close above it, that LIS is still a very strong level.
That was a lot of money there.
Lots of, man, who are you telling?
You know how to mark your LIS, don't you?
How you mark the LIS, Mr. H?
Is the 1605 or 4:05 p.m. So you go to the past. Oop, I'm too far back. Look at 16 right here. 1605. 1605 or 4:05 p.m. if you don't want to go based on military time. But the market is based on 1605. So 1605 closure, it closed right there. And I put an orange line at that closure.
At the 1605.
1605. So the green opened right here and it closed at 1605 of the previous day, obviously.
Can you change the time at the bottom of the chart to a
Can I
regular
change
time?
it?
Yeah, or it's going to stay military time.
Yeah, it's gonna stay military.
All right.
Because if you say 4:05, it could be 4:05 in the morning. If I say 16:05, you can't confuse 16:05 with 4:05 in the morning. But yeah, the LIS is 16:05 at night.
Yeah, but not right now. Unless you're gonna get something.
The only time the LIS is not used is Monday morning, because you don't want to use the LIS from Friday closure Monday morning. It's
I was just about to
valid.
ask you that.
Yeah. Yeah, don't use that Friday LIS on Monday. Because too much happened Saturday and Sunday. Because even though the market is closed Saturday and Sunday and doesn't open until 6 o'clock or 1800 Sunday, that don't mean the market wasn't moving. It just wasn't open for us to trade. But money is always moving. Money is always moving. It's just closed to us. Are you down to the 1 hour? The 1 hour chart? When you guys are practicing, always practice doing this, right? If you want to trade the 9:30 open, practice setting up your charts and the speed of it, because it's just gonna make you a better trader, because you could get in here, mark your chart up real fast, because you can't pause it during the live market, obviously. But you want to get used to clicking these buttons. Like I use hotkeys. I know F6 is going to put my line there. So I use hotkeys and I just get used to marking on my chart. I'll delete everything. I'll put the timer on and I'll try to see how fast I can mark up my chart accurately. Because you want to do that every morning. You want to make sure you get rid of all your old levels, because old levels are going to confuse you. If you didn't delete a level from Thursday that's already been used up Thursday, you're going to come into Friday and you're going to lose money because you took a trade off of an old level because you didn't have time to get rid of it. So always practice getting rid of all your old levels, putting on new levels. Overnight high. It wasn't that many 1 hour levels, except for way in the past. Not, not quite double top. Now you see right here where I marked that 4 hour gap. You notice it's also a 1 hour gap, right? The 1 hour gap is a little bit larger. It's a little bit larger. So it extends all the way to this one right here. But the bottom is the same as the 4 hour, right? I won't normally put both of them there because all I'm looking for is a sell. So if being that they're both at the same area, I wouldn't normally mark that 1 hour gap and the 4 hour gap because they both stop at the same spot. But it's good to know that it's both of them because that strengthens this level right here. So if the market ever came up to here, I'm definitely taking a short because win, lose, or draw, I have a 4 hour and a 1 hour gap literally right on top of each other. That's two good reasons to sell. And since there's not really a lot of levels below, you have to look left. You have to go all the way back to the past to see what you can mark up. There's really not a lot back there either. Now on a 1 hour and a 4 hour, you can mark these swing lows the indicator that I have that I gave you. This swing low is still a very strong level as well. 602.25. Because the reason why I marked this one up, because is one right here and is one right here. Pretty much the same level, swing low. That's how you can see that this is obviously a very strong level because you have two swing lows where it couldn't go below that. And back here, you also have a stop sign or a triple threat level right here as well. They're almost on top of each other. So if I mark something like the triple threat, I'll leave it solid. But if I mark a swing low, I will literally change it from a line to a dot. That way I know the dot is a swing low, the line is a triple threat. $95, $75. And it wasn't a lot down there to mark up Friday because yeah, the market when it dropped and in the live trade room I called it. I was like, if the market go below a certain level, is nothing stopping it, and that mug just kept going down. I'm not marking that. It's a level, but I'm not marking that. All right, there we go. But yeah, that's how I mark up my levels in the morning, just to make sure when I go to the 5 minute, I got it color coded so I know every color and what it is.
You mark levels on the 5 minute chart.
No, nope. Now I do pay attention to the indicators on the 5 minute chart. Like the overnight low, I notice is a swing low, 5 minute swing low, right where the overnight low is. So I notice stuff like that, and just keep a mental note of it. Like even up here, the overnight high and the LIS are very close to each other, and in the middle of that is a 5 minute swing high. So if I was to trade this, I would take a trade right at the middle of it, right at that swing high, because it's right in the middle of the LIS and the overnight high. I'll take a short right there. Win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna take a short. If I lose money, oh well, I still follow my end of the deal. I followed the rules. I just got smacked. Whatever. I tried. So I'll speed it up just so we can see how the market moved at the 9:30 open. All right, so it's going down. The market's about to open. It's 9:29, and we're sitting here waiting for a trade, right? Because we all been there. It's almost 9:30. Let's see what's gonna happen. And honestly, when the market first opens up at 9:30, I normally don't take my first trade until about 9:35, 9:40, just to get over that 9:30 moving up and down. That's when I use my bot. I let the bot do all that, trade all that craziness. All right, it's 9:30 open. We sit here chilling, waiting to see what happens. Now you got the S1 right here. I didn't take a trade off the S1. I just know that it's there. I like to see what the market does when it gets close to it. And the only reason why I wouldn't take that S1 is because when the market opened, it was already pretty much at the S1. Not saying that you couldn't make money, but like if the market opened and is already at the overnight low, I'm not looking to take a trade at the overnight low because it opened up on top of the overnight low already. But since this one opened up and is not quite at the overnight low, I will look for a trade, but I will still wait to see what happens when it gets there.
So you wouldn't would you take a trade off a pivot by itself?
Nah, not normally.
Okay.
Now, if it's far now, this S2, I would look to take one off the S2 because if it goes below the green, which is the overnight low, this is the only thing that's going to stop it. Yeah, and if you look left, there's nothing. You can see that it might be something down here, but yeah, I don't really see a good reason. I like to have at least two reasons. So if I see the S2 right here, I will see if I can find another reason. If I can't, I won't really mess with it. I like to have two reasons. The only one that I'll take a trade without a second reason is the LIS. Those normally happen when it happens, or the triple threat. I'll take a triple threat without another confirmation because they're really accurate. But either way, I'm still waiting to see what it does when it gets near it. If it taps it a couple times and play around, I'll take it. But sometimes it'll get to it and go straight through. So that's why I don't really do resting orders. Even with the overnight low, I want to see what it does when it gets to it. But like with the $50, let's see. Oh, let's see if we get $50 off that low. Even though it's dropping to it pretty fast, if you're just trying to get 50, I want to see if you could just get 50. Boom. You would have got 50 off of it. You would have got a quick, even though it's dropping pretty fast, you would have got a quick 50 off of it. A quick $50. It's 934. You would have made a quick 50 probably several times. And then it went through it. And look at the time, the minute is almost over. So I will wait to see if it closed below. See, look, it still bounced pretty good. You could have made more than 50.
So it's okay to take multiple trades on that?
Yeah, I have. But once again, as a beginner, I would just try to get maybe one or two. I'm not taking too many trades off of that.
Right. You said probably two the most, right? Three
Yeah,
is
yeah, because the more it taps that line, the weaker it gets. But like if you would have used the strategy with no target, hey, look, you would have made good money off that trade. But
I
remember,
caught I caught that trade yesterday, but I did it on the sim because I was trying to wait on the. Remember, you told us not to do anything if you waiting on the payout. I made 900
yeah,
off that trade.
yeah. You waiting for a payout, just trade micros until they say approved. Once your withdrawal is approved, proceed trading. But yeah, when I'm waiting for a payout, I trade micros only. Look at that. You could have made some good money off that thing. It bounced now. But as a beginner, 50 to 100, be done. And you could get 50 to 100 pretty smooth. Because once again, the goal is to be consistent. I don't care if you made $10,000. How can you make 10,000 every day? Can you make that 10,000 5 days, in a row? I can make $50 every day. That's why when people are like, "Oh, my consistency rate is 90%," I'm like, "Yeah, but how much are you trying to get?" Because if you're only trying to make $100, it's real easy to be 90% accurate when you're only trying to get $100. But if you're trying to get 1,000 a day, let's see what's your percentage when you're trying to make 1,000 per trade. That percentage go down real fast. But yeah, well, once again, with that overnight low, because the market opened up way up here at 9:30, I would have felt comfortable taking that trade, that bounce, because it opened up way up here and took its time getting down. But if it would have opened up and it was already sitting on top of that overnight low, I wouldn't have took it because the market was already close to it. So that was a trade right there. But remember, Friday the market dropped after, I want to say, after 9:40, it just went down. So I would have waited for a closure under this overnight low, and I would have took a retracement when it came back up and went down. Because once it closed below a level, the level is still strong. It's just no longer strong as a buy. It's strong as a sell. Because whatever is resistance, once it closed below it, is turned into, or whatever support, once it closed below it, is turned into resistance. Same thing on the way up. If it was resistance at one point, once it closes above it, is now turned into support. Fast forward so you can see what happened. If I can remember, I think it was a crazy rundown too. And right now, that's just consolidation. When it's just moving around the same level, it's just consolidating around the S1.
Do you trade on consolidation?
Not really. See
Okay.
that? Now, consolidation is where the bot works best. Y'all see that? Look, it bounced off the overnight low again.
Mm-hmm.
Look, another bounce off of it. It just can't get below it right now. But remember, I only do two. Once I get my two, I don't care what happens. I'm waiting for a closure below it because I already got my two bounces off of it. I'm gonna chill until it closes below it. Bam! It closed below it. Slow it down a little bit. Now it closed below it. I will look for a short if it came back to there. Because it came back up, but it didn't quite come to the line. I like to be picked up at the bus stop, meaning I'd rather be picked up right there. I don't want to. I don't want to front run. Sometimes I front run, but once again, when you're new, you want to get picked up at the bus stop. You don't want to get used to front running all your trades.
So you wouldn't have got in until they came and hit that market order.
Yeah. Yep. Now, me as a trader, I would have just hit sell. I would have just clicked sell market as soon as it closed below it. Look at that. Look how that thing dropped. Mm-mm-mm. So as I said, as a trader, as soon as I seen it close below it, I would have just sold the I would have hit sell. As soon as I seen it coming close to it, I would have just clicked sell. But see that right there? It closed below that brown line. It came back to it, went down because it was a closure below it. See that? It went to it. It bounced up. You could have made about $50 on the bounce, but once it came down and closed below it, it went down, came back up. You could have sold it right here on the way down. So support turns into resistance once it closed below it, and resistance turns into support once it closed above it. That's how you trade these crazy down days. Wait for the pullback, short, and it never came back. Look at it, gone. This level around here. Let's see how it acts around here. because even in a down market, don't be scared. It's okay to buy if it's going down. Just know if you're gonna put in a buy, it's not gonna make that much money. Okay, a buy is not gonna make that much money because the overall market is down. So you're gonna make more money if you go in the direction of the big dogs. The big dog want the market to go down. You're gonna make more money on a short than you are a long, or a sell more than a buy. Not saying you can't make money. I'm just saying you have a better chance and you're going to make more trading in the direction of the big dogs.
Yeah.
See that? We still made another 50 buying it. Even though the market was going down, a level is still a level. We still made another 50, but guess what? It ain't go that much higher. It went up, made your 50, came back down, went back up. It still bounces at levels even on a downtrend. But you're going to make way more going in the direction of the big dogs. You could have made more money selling here instead of buying. You could have made more money selling here instead of buying. And I'm pretty sure when it gets back down to this, you can make more money selling here instead of buying here. That don't mean you couldn't make money buying, because we still made $100 by 10:39. We ain't even been in the market a whole hour, already made $100. And 100 a day is 2,000. It was 2,000 a month. Don't think 100 a day ain't a lot of money. That's still 2,000 a month. And if you got 3 accounts, that's 6,000 a month. Y'all see that every one of these levels, even though it's a down market, you could have made 50 to 100 at each one of these levels.
Check it out.
Because the market still follows the rules, even though the overall trend is down. It still was like, look, a level is a level. I'm still gonna abide by the level, but I'm still gonna go down. I'm still going down, but I'm gonna stop at each one of these levels. I'm gonna let these people get their little 50 to 100. But if you think you're gonna keep trading at that level, you're gonna get smacked. But that's how you trade in a downtrend. The levels that you marked off, you can still get 50 to 100, but the big money is going to go in the direction of where they wanted to go. So that level that you marked, even though it tapped it and closed below it, is still a level because you could take a short instead of a buy. We're going to fast forward to see if it goes below that level. And I'm pretty sure it did because it was a big drop. Because hindsight is always 2020. But that's why I like practicing, because you can fast forward and see how the candlestick act when they get to your level, and just get used to seeing that. The more you see it, the easier trading gets. So when it happens in the live market, you're like, oh, I didn't practice this so many times. It's like second nature. It's like muscle memory. There again, it bounced off again, but it's trying to go through it. It's getting closer and closer and closing. And that's why you have this timer down here, because it's counting down to when this candle is going to close and a new one will open. Y'all got to use those timers. It hasn't closed below it yet. It's below it. It just ain't closed below it. Boom, now it closed below it. Let's see what happens at this level. Let's see if it comes back to it or if it blows straight through it. And this is how I practice. And see, now that one, it blew straight through it. This is how you practice because you want to know what it does at every level that you mark up. That's why you load several days, mark them up, and just watch how the market acts around each level so you can get used to seeing that activity. Because even though that blew straight through there, watch, let's see what it does later on. Because a lot of times you could be right. You just jumped in too early. Look at now it's going down. See that? And that shows you right there, even though I bought the market right here, it took me out. That's called a bear trap sweep. It put me into a trade. It took me out right there and then went down because I wasn't wrong. I just had a resting order. I got in too early. Instead of seeing what it did when it got to there, it went a little bit above, snatched up everybody's lunch money. Then it said, all right, now I want to go down. So you wasn't wrong if you placed a trade there. You just placed it too early and your stop loss was too close. That's all that happened there. That was a learning lesson. That's why you practice so that you can see that and recognize it when it happens in the live market. That was a good trade. I was just in there too early. And now it's going to consolidate around that level. And I think I was done out the market before 11 because I'm normally not in this market past 10:30. Because as you see, if you were trading, you could have bought the market at the high, at the overnight low. You could have bought the market there, made some money, or you could have sold it when it came back to retrace. You could have bought this one and you could have retraced this one. That was all by 10:20. You normally would have been done. You could have made enough money off of these two levels to where you could have been done for the day. And you probably could have made some more money off this bounce off here. And that was at 10:40. I'm usually not in the market around 11, 12 o'clock because that's when the London market closes. And when the London market closes, the market does a whole different thing. Whatever happened in the morning before London closed, it normally does the opposite after London closes. So if it went down in the morning, it usually go up in the afternoon. So the morning, I'm only here 9:30 to about 10:30. I done made enough money in this trend down. Here's 10:30 right here. I wasn't even in the market when it hit this level right here. You don't have to be here long, guys. A good hour, you're done. When you practice that first hour of the market. Once you practice, load a different day, practice from 9:30 to 10:30 if that's your normal time of trading. If sometime you notice you don't get in the market till after 10:30, then you need to practice 10:30 till whatever time you normally trade. So 10:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12:30. I'm only in this market for an hour. Anybody have any questions? You guys are quiet.
Good afternoon, Mr. H. I
Hey,
just had a quick question. I had asked this in the live, but I just wanted to confirm if you're trading the evening session, you would mark up the 4:30 candle from the New York session?
if you're trading after the New York close,
Yes.
yeah, yep. So I will mark off the closure at 5 o'clock when the market
Okay.
closes. So when the market opened at 9:30 and when it closes at 5.
So you'll mark up both candles?
Yeah, I'll mark off
Or
the 9:30 open and 5 o'clock. And that's the high and the low. So 9:30 will be where the market opened up, and when it closed at 5 o'clock. That's what I would trade at 6.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm. And you still mark up your triple threats and your gaps that you might see, stuff like that.
But just from that time frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
because around 8 o'clock is when Japan opens.
Okay. So you would start trading at 6 or you would start at 8?
It opens at 6, so you can trade at 6, but you'll notice more volatility around 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it'll move a lot more around 8 because that's Japan. And I think around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning is London. So yeah, and that's when you want to still look at the news. Let me pull it up. So on Forex Factory, they will have the 4 p.m., 7, 7:50. They'll have other news in other countries as well.
So I will need to look at the news for those countries that trade during that time.
Yep, 7:30 p.m. Tokyo. Yeah, you don't want to be trading around 7:30 because it's an orange folder for Tokyo.
Okay. So we're checking for the orange and the red folders.
Yep. Like this right here, 3 a.m. retail sales is an orange folder, a red folder. Tells you right here. So consumer spending. Yep, and that's UK. Because UK opens up around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning is UK. So if you're trading around 3,
And
4 o'clock, you want to know what's going on in the UK.
and
Now,
for the prop firms,
go
you
ahead.
can't you I just want to interrupt you. For prop firms, you can cross sessions, right?
What you mean?
Like can you trade from the Asia session through the next session will be New York, or you can only trade session to session?
Oh, no. You can hold a trade from 6 p.m. at night all the way to 5 p.m. the next day.
Okay.
You just can't trade between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. that 1 hour.
Okay.
So you can't place a trade at 4:30 p.m. and hold it until the market opens.
Gotcha.
They're
Okay.
gonna close out. They're gonna close you out.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. But yeah, the US dot Econo Day, they not gonna show other countries though, because it's just US Econo Day,
Okay.
just the US. So yeah, they don't care nothing about other countries. But Forex Factory will show other countries. But yeah, always check the news in the morning because like Monday, red rum. It was France was going crazy. Germany having a ball. It is going crazy. So, always check that. But yeah, you want to always check the news.
Yeah, let me ask you a quick question about the VPS.
Mhm.
Are those, there's none free, right? You have to pay for those, right?
Yeah. I don't think they have free VPSs.
Okay, so
And if they did, I wouldn't get
Apex,
that
how
anyway.
much, about how much is a VPS for Apex? Do you know offhand?
VPS is just a separate entity. It's like it's just a remote laptop. The one that I use is Ninja Mobile. I think their plan start at $56 a month.
A month?
Yeah. But the only time you really need a VPS is if you have multiple accounts and you notice your computer slowing down because you don't want a slow computer when you're trying to make money. So if you notice that you'll take a trade and it might put you in a trade, sometimes has a delay on putting you in a trade, then you want to look into getting a VPS or buy a faster computer, which a gaming laptop could run you anywhere between $800 to $3,000 or more. So I would look at a VPS if you don't want to buy a new gaming laptop. Excuse me. Or your internet is not that fast. If your internet is not that good, then a VPS will be another option because the VPS has its own internet speed. Like when I travel, I'll bring my cheap laptop and I'll still log into my VPS because it has the same thing that you see here. It'll be on my VPS on my tablet, on my phone. And if I'm in a area that doesn't have a lot of, like my dad in South Carolina, his internet is not that fast because he's in the country. It's still fast enough to log into my VPS. And my VPS has the same internet speed all no matter where I'm at.
Was a difficult situation for me to try to put my VPS on my other devices. Is that a normal thing, or
Yeah,
do I
you should be
need
able to log into your other device with your VPS. You just have to open up remote desktop. Just open up your
Yeah,
remote desktop and just type in your password and username, and you'll log in to your VPS. Because you have a VPS, don't you?
yeah, I do, man. And I wanted to hook it up to my other to my desktop. It
Yeah,
was
you,
too
you can.
complicated for me.
Um, what are you available tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, just shoot me a message, and we'll just do a Zoom, and I can connect it to your PC.
My man, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I can do that for you. It ain't gonna take long.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
AM,
I was about to say
PM.
you asked about a VPS. I'm like, you already got one. You don't need to buy two of them.
Yeah. AM or PM.
Uh, 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 what am I doing tomorrow? Where's my phone at? Oh yeah, yeah, I ain't got nothing going on. So I'm normally up early anyway. So 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Just shoot me a
Sounds like
message.
a plan. Yep, yep.
Yeah, because it's only gonna take us like a good 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes for me to log into your VPS and set it up. Because since you're already using the VPS, all your stuff is already set up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's nothing to download and none of that. So yeah, it ain't gonna take no time. Shoot me a message in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I get on here, we go. Of
All right. Thank you, Mr. A.
course. Anybody got any other questions before we roll out of here?
Yes, can you go over the charts right quick? I'm having two issues on NinjaTrader.
Mhm.
So whenever I pull up a chart, it always still says 325 instead of 625, and I have to do rollover, and I need to learn how to do the workstation real quick because it's not saving.
Okay. Well, you go to tools and you do database management,
Right?
and it rolls over and then it doesn't save it.
No, I have to keep going in. Am I doing something wrong? Let me go
No,
to
it should
another one.
save it. It should save it
My,
automatically. But go to workspaces,
uh-huh.
save, and it should save everything rolled over.
But so if I hit save, right? Then how do I pull it back up? Like, is it there? So okay, so say I come in the morning, I'm logging in, it should automatically fall on, like, let me click on a new tab. If I click on a new tab, um, for data series, when I pull it down, it always says 325. It has 625 for ES, but not NQ.
Oh,
So
and
I'm doing
data
something.
on your data series.
Yeah. Yeah, so I go into select, it just keeps saying 325.
So your NQ don't say 625.
Right.
All right. So if you're saving now, when you pull up, do your chart, or your chart still have the stuff labeled and everything?
No, because I lose it,
You
right?
got to
So I
redo your
didn't,
charts every time you open it up.
right.
Oh
So
no.
it's not, yeah.
So what you have to do, close NinjaTrader,
Okay.
log into your ninjatrader.com,
Uh-huh.
and you probably have to update your NinjaTrader. So go log into close NinjaTrader, go to
Mm-hmm.
your browser, log into your ninjatrader.com, and go to
Okay.
download, and it's going
Hold
to
on.
download the new updated version. And when you double click the download, just choose fix or repair.
Okay, wait a minute. NinjaTrader.
Yeah, download a new NinjaTrader and then click repair when you download it.
Okay. Because what you just did, come on, this thing's getting on my nerves. Um, when you come in, you're not clicking on a tab, right? Your charts are already there.
Yep. Yeah, because it should be saved under. Let me pull it up. It should everything should be saved under your workspace.
Okay, so you just click on that. So
Now, if you
so
want to pull up a workspace,
right.
you pull up one. You can like if I click Untitled, it'd be a completely different workspace.
No, so go back to the one you have saved. So you click on it. Oh, you're in playback. So I'm just saying, does it
Yeah, but
just
it still opens up to this one. Now, if I hit this wheel is going to be is open up to a completely different one
no,
because I don't have nothing saved.
go back to the one you have saved and let me see how it okay.
Pops right back
Okay.
up.
All right. So you said log in and click on I don't even know what my freaking password is.
Yeah, when you
Man,
yeah.
ain't been in here in 10,000 years. Okay. So I'm in there and then you say where is it? Oh,
At the bottom,
download.
it should say like download in orange,
Okay.
and then when
Okay.
you click that orange one, it'd be a download in blue.
Right.
Click that download, let it go ahead and download, and when you click the file to actually load it, it'll say repair instead of adding a new NinjaTrader.
Okay.
You want to repair because something is not saving, something's not right.
Right. Okay. Okay, cool beans.
And now that
Uh,
should after that repairs, it should save everything that you have set and show the 625.
and I don't have to keep going back in.
Yeah.
Where's my
Yeah,
darn
because once
thing?
once you roll over, it should automatically save it regardless.
Okay. Okay, let me see if this it says it exists. Do I want to replace it? Just say yes.
Repair.
It
Is
doesn't
repair
say
option?
it just says it already exists. Do you want to replace it?
Yeah, replace fine.
Okay. And then it's gonna
Because it's not going to
say
delete, it's just going to replace, it's not
right.
going to delete all your files.
Okay. Oh, I gotta close it. Okay. Doing too much.
Yeah. Close it first.
Sorry.
That's probably why
Okay.
I asked to replace because it's already open.
Okay.
It should be repair.
Let me see what it is. Okay. I don't want to keep anybody, but okay. I'll just do that and see what happens here.
Yeah. But
And
that's that
then
anytime I had an issue like that, I just re-download it, repair, and
mhm.
it should fix it.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Anybody else?
Well, I got a question about the trading room.
Mhm.
So it's $300 a month, but is there any other extra fees like new indicators or?
Right now he's doing 150 for uh, a month for 2 months.
Oh, okay.
But I think he gives you the VWAP indicator. The only one that you have to pay for is if you want the anchored VWAP, but you don't. I think he gives you the intraday VWAP, which is all you really need.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it's just that's a monthly charge. He's doing half off for your first 2 months. I think Chris just joined. I know Jeanette is in there. But yeah, we
Oh yeah, it's time for me to get in there.
yeah, and he shows you how to trade off of zones and the VWAP.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you got my trades, and then if for whatever reason my trades are nowhere around, now you got zones and you got a VWAP to also take a trade from. Just
So his
just
so
more
his his
weapons.
his indicators are these are customized.
No, he just show you how to mark up your charts to find zones, just like you find gaps.
Oh,
And the
no, I'm talking.
VWAP, the intraday VWAP is an indicator.
Yeah, but did he make that? Is that customized?
It's customized, but he didn't make it no.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Like John showed you how the market makers trade. He teaches you how the big dogs trade.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah. That's why he make 15,000 a day.
I got it.
I have, oh,
Okay.
sorry. I just said I have one thing to ask. Do you mind just showing us how to get to like how to practice trades? Because I think I'm having a little hard time comprehending this software. So I be all over the place trying to figure out which button is which. So yeah, I just want to know how did you get to back test to basically trade
Oh yeah.
out the hours.
On your account, say you're logged in, right? You're logged into your regular account. All you got to do is go to Tools, Import, Historical Data.
Yeah.
You got it here?
Mm-hmm.
And when you click on Historical Data, it's going to pull up this box. At the bottom where it says Get Market Replay Data, you select whatever you want to practice on. And I choose NQ or MNQ. You can practice ES, whatever you want to practice. You can choose what day you want to load. I chose Friday, and you just click download. Now see, once it turn gray and it turn back dark gray, you're done, right? You there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, once you do that, you just hit the X, close that out. Go back to connections and disconnect from your Apex or Booleanox account. Disconnect, and then you reconnect playback.
Mm-hmm.
That box will pop right back up, get market replay. You choose NQ or whatever you want to practice. Choose the date that you downloaded and click download again. You there?
Yes.
Right? Once that download turns back gray, dark gray, just hit continue. And that's it. It'll pop up the playback box. Just wait for it to turn green.
Okay. And then to go back to the regular charts or the live data, you just go to connections.
Yep, and disconnect from playback.
Okay.
Yep, playback, disconnect, and then reconnect to Apex or Booleanox.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
I think I got to redo mine because mine be sticking. So that's what you said. Go into the tools. I get.
Now if it sticks, you have to go to clear your cache.
Oh, okay. Clear the cache. Okay.
Yeah, and you can also go to go back to playback. When this pulls up, right here where it says market replay, you can just delete these. Remove. Bloop. Remove.
Oh, you could. I didn't know you could remove
Yeah,
them.
because
Huh?
you got all these saved, so it slows it
Right.
down.
Okay. I didn't know
You can
that.
also go into your file, market replay file, and just delete all these saved files. It's faster ways to do it. You just remove the whole thing. Remove. Bloop, gone.
How much for that hat?
I got these made. I just went and got them made. I don't have them sold or yet or for sale. But just inbox me the address. I'll send you one.
Okay.
Yeah, just inbox the address. I don't mind. It don't take you no time to send these off. But yeah, that's all you do. You just go here and just delete them. And your computer will start loading real fast. Watch. Especially if you practice as much as I do. Look at all these dates I got from 2024.
I didn't even know that was a problem. I thought it's supposed to be on there. So yeah, I got to remove some of them.
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of dates. Like you can't even practice 225 no more. I don't even know what that's on there. But yeah, that's all you got to do. But yeah. So I guess that's everything, right, guys?
Yeah.
Guys,
Thanks,
girls.
Will.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you don't know if y'all have any questions, just hit me up, man.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Enjoy the rest of y'all day.
All right, Detroit signing off.
Was that Larry?
Detroit signing off.
For sure.